What we will cover today is the importance of early education. And we're going to look at the drivers for early education, as well as covering some of the importance and benefits of early education. What is early education? Well, some people call it early childhood education, and you may hear people call it preschool, hear people call it or simply early education. The definition of early education is basically the teacher-led learning in a school setting environment before the school age. What are some of the drivers parents to send their kid to early education? Well, there's two different reasons. The first thing that we're going to look at is basically what we call non-academic, because the parents have to be at work and they need somebody to take care of their kid. They need somebody to look after their kid. That's a non-academic reason. It may not be the best one, but it's a very realistic one. And the academic reason, we want to be responsible parents. We want to help them to prepare for school better. Or maybe that parents think that, hey, I've done all I can to teach child, or I'm actually seeing some behavior issue and some discipline issue. I really need to send my child to a group environment and to learn about the social aspect of things at that age, beyond what the parents can teach them. And those are the drivers for parents to send them to school. Is early education really important? In the state of Texas, kindergarten is not even mandatory. But why? Why do you want to send your child to early education? It's important because you want children to receive quality early education, and so that they can do better at school once they reach the school age. Early education can help a child to graduate from high school and hold on to jobs better than the one that has not been going to preschool or kindergarten. But for society, it's even more important because statistics and research have shown that your early education can actually improve society, and it can produce a better qualified workforce, and therefore reduce crime rate, reduce unemployment rate, and reduce the chances of them will be dependent on social welfare. Believe it or not, and scientific research has shown that early education actually the likelihood of ending up in trouble, in jail. So early education is extremely important, not just from a family perspective, but as well as from the society's perspective. If you want a little bit more convincing messages, let me have this guest of honor deliver this message to you.
No wonder that James Heckman, an economist at the University of Chicago, has said that it actually makes business sense to invest in early childhood education, since it's likely to, quote, generate substantial savings to society and to promote higher economic growth by improving the skills of the workforce.
As President Obama indicated that early education is extremely important. And just like what we just said, and it's not just important for the family, but as well as important to the society. Let's take a look at a research. It was done in Michigan, and between the years 1962 and 1967, they looked at a sample of 123 children, and they selected 58 of them randomly to attend a 2-year preschool program between the age of 2 to 3 years old. Teachers in the program, they all have bachelor's degree in education and certified in education. The research study, following through with people that they have started the research study when they were 2-3 years old, and then till they age 40, you can see the differences in life. So early education not just impacting the kids at early childhood, but it will impact them, will be benefited to them over the next 20-30 years in life. That's why early education is so important. Another research study that I want to show to you. This research study is done by Dr. Clyde Hersman. He's the director of the Human Learning Partnership, University of British Columbia. You look at what he has done and the result, and you will be amazed. The differences in learning during early childhood versus getting older. Take a look at this.
Why is early child development important? The overarching answer is because it is a determining influence on subsequent life chances and health. But why is that? The principal reason is to be found in the fact that in the early years of life, there are a wide range of very key milestones or sensitive periods in brain and biological development. As I'm speaking, this slide is scrolling out, showing some of the early elements of brain development that occur before children reach school age, which is in the dark gray portion of the slide, showing that by the time kids reach school age, a huge amount has taken place in terms of their opportunities to develop basic competencies that will code for success in later years. For instance, their visual systems are connecting to the deep structures in the brain that are associated with emotional control. That means that children who have a consistent set of human faces that they see early on in life, going through a wide range of emotions, develop the neurobiological ability to decode emotion and to develop a sense of belonging. Those children who are neglected or grow up in environments which are violent or emotionally barren develop a completely different style of coping early on in life and a different set of biological connections which do not work so well adaptively later on. Similarly, in the early years, children's ability to understand language and to express themselves in language goes up as a straight dose response with the richness and the responsiveness of the language environment that they grow up in. So that by the time children reach school age, those that have grown up in rich and responsive language environments are ready to understand the instructions that come from the teacher, ready to respond and describe their experience and learn. Whereas children that have grown up in environments where there's been very little language have huge difficulties decoding sentences of 10, 15, 20 words of length, of understanding what it means to respond to a question, of understanding what it means to give their experience or give their ideas as though they were some sort of expert. Similarly, children early on in life who start off being physically aggressive in situations of social conflict, if by the time they reach school age they've not had the socializing experiences to reduce and eliminate and transform these physically aggressive responses into verbal communication skills, those children are at a high risk of going on to labeling and grade failure as time goes on. So in all dimensions, physical, social, emotional, language and cognitive development, the early years are crucial for health, well-being, learning, and behavior thereafter.
As you can see from the research study, and the differences in learning in the early ages versus later on in life, the opportunity that we have, and to educate a child, that's because the human brain functions very much like a Microsoft Excel, it has all those little shells. We ask the question, why a child can learn a language and can memorize things much better than an adult. The reason is because they have much more shells than us as an adult. And the reason is that between the age of 2 to 6, if you fill those shells in the spreadsheet with information, they will retain it and they will retain those shell space. But if you don't use it, you don't fill it with information, and over time, they will lose those space. And so they will have less and less shells. And that's why a child has much more shells. That's why it's important for a child to attend preschool programs, because early education matters. When a child starts school behind, he or she will stay behind. You want to do the right thing for your child and for the society. Thank you very much.